So do you know what dinosaur this is from?
I don't. It was my grandfather's. I have no idea. I just know that it's a dinosaur bone.
It's a big dinosaur. This is pretty incredible. There's only been 44 presidents. This guy has documents signed by 7 of them. They seem to be all tied together to one soldier, which makes an interesting story, and that can be a big selling point to collectors. This is from a cave bear. Like we're talking like old, like thousands and thousands of years ago cave bear.
Pleistocene times. And this guy was from Romania, 20 to 30,000 years old.
Which is incredible. In the 1800s, they realized that, hey, there was really big animals walking around. And soon after, archaeologists started racing to excavate whatever fossils they could find. Deposits in the United States where there's just massive amounts of them.
Right.
So, how much do you want for this thing?
Cast pieces, weight is going to be the first indicator. That definitely feels like a cast toe.
Okay.
That's not that big a deal. Looks like these little toes. Well, there we're starting to get into some real bones. These metacarpals, these are real.
All right.
If it were cast, this would be much lighter. If this thing came into my museum, I'd be very comfortable appraising it at $25,000.
Well, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So what do you think of that?
So I'm pleased that it's, for the majority of it, is authentic.
I mean, what would you take for it?
So what about 21,000?
So I know a little bit about the elephant bird, but basically they were the biggest birds ever. Looked like an ostrich, but it weighed twice as much. It was like a foot taller.
Right. In fact, I have a very old trading card, the picture of the elephant bird.
This thing would be. Okay, to tell you the truth, I have no idea if that's a good number or if it's even mine. I do have a friend, he's a paleontologist. If I can get him down here to take a look at it.
I think that's great.
Okay, I'll be.
So elephant birds could get up to 10 feet tall and weigh as much as 1,600 pounds. There is some condition issues that I'd like to point out. All of these abrasions here, so rather than taking the time to find pieces that fit better, they just kind of ground them into place. That's really going to affect the value.
So tell me, is it worth it? Elephant load of cash?
I would appraise this egg $5,900, I think is a...
We have Lieutenant Colonel.
That was under Theodore Roosevelt, along with William Taft being Secretary of War.
Yeah, that's a big wow factor right there.
I came to the pawn shop today to try and sell my military documents that have been signed. I am getting married next summer, and we need to finance this.
Who was this guy?
That's a lot of money. Do you mind if I have someone look at all? Sometimes secretaries sign their signature on there. I want to see which ones the president's actually signed, and she'll know which one of these signatures are real and which aren't. Because, you know, I just know that presidents, a lot of these were signed by secretaries.
It is a question of what we call authorized forgeries. Let me look at the Roosevelt.
Theo and Taft.
Together? Oh, great. That's what you want. Johnson. The main thing I'm looking for here is how the characters are formed, especially if it's a secretarial signature. The characters will be similar to the original, but not quite the same. It's worth worth $1,000 by itself. The Teddy Roosevelt is worth about $750 by itself. But you put them together with this archive, you have the original tube and everything, you can be looking to up to $10,000.
All right, well, thanks, girl. You're the best.
You're welcome.
Substantial printed book in the history of the world.
So we have a leaf here, which is a page.
This is one page from the good. Why there is only one page. In the 1920s, a famous book dealer named Gabriel Wells came upon
And the press that it went into, he had to invent the ink. It was a massive undertaking.
It's like the internet, to think how quickly they went from printing a book like this to having people copy the invention, to go throughout Europe, setting up printing centers all through Europe within 50 years.
Like always, I'm going to call him Rebecca. Let me get her down here.
I would be delighted to see it.
$65,000. The world's most famous book person meets the world's most famous book.
Gutenberg Bible, I just touched.
Okay.
So when was the last?
The full set hasn't been sold since the...
They're going to place this around $80,000. So I think that is fair to ask for the way things are looking right now in the market.
Of all the business we've done over the years, like
You give me a number, what you're comfortable with.
40,000. That's a big wow factor right there.
It certainly is, yeah.
My earliest memories of, when I was a kid, watching old videos of Jimi Hendrix play a white early 60s Stratocaster, but he played it upside down.
I have a partial list of the records that I played on. This is 36 pages.
This is how many albums you've been on?
Big Flick, that's my name, yeah.
You worked on films too?
I worked on films, I worked on Goldfinger, James Bond.
That would probably be the most recognizable one, period.
Guy? Yeah, this is the guy that Jimmy Page would look over his shoulder in the studio and figure out what he was doing so he could... Honor to meet you. Honor to meet you.
Thank you, Jesse.
You helped teach Jimmy Page?
I helped Jimmy Page. I advised him on a couple of things, yes.
You take 50 grand for it.
I'm looking more towards the 70, maybe 65.
It's nothing personal. I'm just thinking, you're sort of a rock star, and that's my quandary when I go to sell this.
Do you go 60?
More or less a legend. He invented the log, which was like the first real electric guitar. I know he patented all sorts of different things with pickups, amplifiers. Basically, everything about a modern electric guitar was invented by him. In the 1950s, Les Paul and his wife, Mary Ford, had over a dozen.
Dude, this is amazing. I can't even believe I'm holding this in my hands. Mary Ford's Les Paul, this is absolutely crazy. Every hit that Les Paul had as a musician, pretty much, she was there with him. She was a singer. She could go note for note. Les, as a guitar player, she was really, really...
Want for it now?
Well, I was thinking $250,000 would do it.
A few years ago, maybe. There's not as many buyers in the market. Jesse was saying right around maybe 150 would happen. If you want a check today, I'll give you 75 grand.
It's not gonna happen. This is once in a lifetime. I'll tell you what.
dinosaurs more or less died away when the Ice Age went away. They lived in caves. Their bones got a little bit preserved because they were inside caves.
Right. They were sharing the caves with the cavemen.
The only way those two were sharing a cave is if the humans were the meals. Lady right here has a cave bear claw.
Absolutely. This is Ursus spilius.
What? Okay, hold on. Ursus spilius?
Yeah, we're going to talk some Latin. Ursus spilius is the scientific name of the cave bear. My only concerns would be any kind of damaging preservation, articulating it. A lot of people like to put metal inside of the bones. That's something I would look for. Yeah, I see the metal in there now. So that's typical. It's not ideal. That's also typical.
Well, 1,000, so you're not going to give me 1,000.
No.
What's the best you can offer me?
$400.
Ooh, can you do 500?
I'll go 4 1/4. That's really the best I can go.
Can you squeak it up to 450?
No.
Where did you get these?
My aunt was a nun, and I was helping clean out some of her closets. And I said, Auntie, what's in this cute little suitcase? She said, oh, just some slippers that belonged to Pope Leo the 13th.
And do you know anything about them?
Stand here and talk all day about these slippers. We don't know a damn thing. Let's call somebody.
Yeah, his socks.
This is interesting. Leo the 13th, he served as Pope from 1878 to 1903, was very influential in how the Catholic Church was changing at that. Maybe. I hate to do that to you, Rick. I hate to do that to you. They're the right time period. They're made right. I would give it about a 75% yes.
I normally don't do this. I'm gonna pass. I mean, it's, you know, I can't get a definitive answer on this stuff, but I have to guarantee this stuff when I sell it.
Sure.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
bringing
so
it in.
much. You're welcome. My
Thank
pleasure.
you, young lady.
Well, obviously, we didn't make a deal.
And this one that says Government of Texas. We have Sam Houston right here. He was president. Most people don't know that.
He was indeed.
It just wasn't of the United States. It was the Republic of Texas.
Absolutely.
Its own country. And then the United States government sort of annexed Texas, saying, you're part of the United States.
Notes of the Republic of Texas, approximately 25,000, and then for the Government of Texas note, 650,000.
650,000. Oh, really? Why would you think this bill was worth so much?
That's the rarest of all of them. It's the only known uncirculated specimen graded.
These notes are part of a very colorful history. They're fascinating, they're scarce, and they come up at auction, usually in lower grade. Early Texas notes can be very rare, and like anything else, it depends strictly on condition. This gentleman might have something real valuable. What we're asking for this group.
Obviously, we're really far apart. You know, my guy says 6,500, you're saying 650,000, so.
I appreciate you bringing in an expert, but obviously this is so rare. He just doesn't, if I could buy notes at his prices retail, I'd probably buy him out.
Jay's my guy, I gotta listen to him. I've never had any deal that far. This is really cool. Do you mind if I pick this up?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Okay. It's a scarab. Way back in Egypt, everybody had one. Scarabs are generally carved from stone and glazed either blue or green. It looks like an old scarab, but the question is it really 3,000 years old? Her grandmother picked up in Egypt, and this is the only paperwork she has right here. And remember, they don't have a Better Business Bureau there. Yeah. Let's just put it that way.
Do you mind if I touch the ring?
Oh, go right ahead.
This beetle was a dung beetle. Is a sun, a rake, and a scarab. Underneath it, an ibis, and that says to me 18th dynasty. And King Tut came from this dynasty. Usually one of these went in almost every mummy. So, and there were a lot of people that died in all those things. A scarab like that, I'm gonna say right now for maybe $250.
So $250 plus like $200 in gold.
So you're looking at right around $450 to $500.
Thanks, man. You're the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for solving the mystery.
I enjoyed.
Looks old. It looks like the pottery they made, like a couple thousand years ago. The indigenous people of Mexico were incredible artists when it came to pottery.
So, I mean, what do you think it was used for? Were you supposed to drink out of it or something?
It was probably something ceremonial. They truly believed that. It was in a kiln, burn marks and everything on the bottom. So it went into a kiln like this, and it came out with those beautiful finishes on it. I mean, if you looked at this from 3 or 4 feet away, it looks like wood. I mean, that's how beautiful they did it. I think it's kind of amazing. How much are you looking to get out of this?
About 4,000.
It's got me intrigued because it could be very, very old.
How you doing?
Hi there, how are you? That is quite the duck. I can tell you a couple things about it. 2,000 years ago, they made animals to go into a tomb, and they'd lay the body and they'd place these animals around. All of the animals that they would put in the tomb. One of the things that I'm noticing, it's got the burnishing lines, so they would use a stone and they would polish this extensively before it would go in the kiln. Got nice manganese blooms, but I see a repair here. I see that there are repairs in the body. They're almost...
So you want 4,000 for it? Okay, I mean, I give you 4 because it does take a long time to sell it.
Okay, awesome. Please.
You want to go write her up?
All right, luckily I'm not superstitious, so I'll meet you up over there.
All right.
And he's going to pay her in $100 bill.